And after a lengthy battle with a failing internet connection and a lack of hotspot data, we are live here on CSI Sportsnet. Dolphins with an early 1-0 lead over Adelphi University. Michael Flashner with a Sun-assisted inside the park home run in the first inning as the ball was lost in the sunlight out in left field. 1 out here in the road second inning. Dolphins batting, and Jaden Waterman takes down and in. On the same field 2 days ago, Waterman cleared the bases with a first inning 3 RBI double. That was against Southern Connecticut State University. And Waterman is now behind 1-2 here. I'm hoping that 5 gigs of data is enough to get us through both games of the doubleheader today. We've had to re-up 3 separate times during the trip. Unfortunately, there are no warnings when you're about to run out of data. It just happens, and then you have to log in and add the additional data necessary to get through the game as Waterman is thrown out on the ground ball, 2 away. Anthony Cetera will be the batter. Dolphins starting lineup from top to bottom: Palomini, Flashner, Vigliotti, Weigel, Leno, Waterman, Cetera, Kehoe. That is Jack Kehoe in the 8th spot. Michael in the 9th spot. As Cetera grounds out to first. 6-3 on the putout, and the inning is over. Dolphins go down 1-2-3 in the second. They lead Adelphi 1-0. And we're back from Ebbets Field in Myrtle Beach. Bottom half of the second inning with the Dolphins leading Adelphi University 1-0. Because we had no internet earlier in the game, I did not have all of my documents open with the proper rosters and pronunciation. So before I get you the Adelphi lineup, I'll make sure I get that open. Be aware it could take some time. Though we have internet, it is not necessarily good internet right now. Keelty quickly ahead, 0-2 here as that pitch is fouled away. Aiden Keelty has been a staple in the Dolphins bullpen for the last 2 years. He gets the start here today as that's hit the other way. Out to medium deep right field. Kehoe underneath it makes the catch. And there's one gone. Once again, I'm waiting to get my roster open before potentially mispronouncing a name. Unfortunately, the internet is continuing to give me issues with that, so we wait. I believe Kyle McCleary was announced over public address. Definitely not Kyle, because in the live stats we have BR as the first 2 letters of the first name. So once the internet begins to cooperate and I can get a roster, I will do that as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Keelty ahead 1-2 here. I must admit, it was a lot nicer when I was not responsible for scoring the game at the same time I was calling it. Big shout out to Bob from SNHU yesterday, coming down and scoring those games for me. We were seated right next to each other as the Dolphins and Penmen played 2 yesterday. If I can't get into my inbox, the next best thing is the roster on the website, which is what we'll use. As Keelty has the strikeout, and they do complete the putout at first, 2-3. What a scoop by Vigliotti as Kehoe was forced to make that throw around him. That's about as difficult as a 2-3 putout on a strikeout. Count now 2-0. Long look in from Keelty. That's hit in the air. Foul territory. Playable. And it falls behind Vigliotti and in front of Leno. Dolphins early in the season, and you often see it with teams early in the year, but they've had their issues with miscommunication on the infield. There have been some plays that have been missed, and none more costly than those that came on Friday night against the Owls. There's a good breaking ball from Keelty in for a called strike 2. Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 away here in the home second. And that's it on the ground to third. Weigel right on the money with that throw, and the side is retired. The Panthers strand 1 in the second. They trail the Dolphins 1-0 through 2. Jack Kehoe leads things off for the Dolphins in the third inning and is quickly retired on 1 pitch. 1 gone now for the Dolphins here in the road third. That will bring up Michael Kehoe. Kehoe has gotten time behind the plate early in this season. Did have 1 game off yesterday. J.J. Hunter got a start at catcher. Kehoe behind here 0-1. And the 0-1 is a breaking ball swung on and missed for strike 2. Kehoe quickly in a 2-strike hole. The 0-2 pitch. Another breaking ball in on the hands, grounded to third. Throw to first low, and it's scooped at first base. Nicely done there on the back end of that play to prevent what would have definitely been a throwing error. That was Pellegrino over at first on the scoop, and Kehoe is retired for the second out. That will bring up Chris Palomini. He takes down and away for ball 1. Palomini grounded out to short his first time up. And that's hit hard through the left side for a base hit. So Palomini is on with a 2-out single, and as always, he's a threat to run. That will bring up Michael Flashner. Flashner officially picked up the Dolphins' second home run of the season with that inside the park home run in the first inning. Off the bat, it appeared to be a routine fly ball to left, but when the outfielder loses that in the sun and does not touch it, it goes down as a hit, and Flashner, to his credit, running out of the box, was able to score. And it wasn't necessarily that close at home plate either. It was a throw, but the play at the plate was not close. Flashner ahead in the count here, 1-0. And he takes a called strike. After that first swing that resulted in the inside the park home run, they're giving him a ton of room on the right side of the infield as Flashner takes up and away. They're also holding Palomini on first, so there's a big hole on the right side. Count now 2-1. That's fouled away. Two and two, 2 outs here in the road third. There goes Palomini. Great pitch to throw on, and Palomini's in safely. The throw gets away, and Palomini is into third. So a stolen base for Palomini, and then a throwing error allows him to take third. Count on Flashner, now full 3-2. Standing on deck, A.J. Vigliotti. Comes the payoff pitch. That's fouled straight back. We'll do it again, 3-2. Billy Kind comes set and delivers. And that's hit to the left side, slow roller to short. Throw to first in time, and the Dolphins are turned aside in the third inning. Palomini stranded at third on the Flashner ground out, and the score remains 1-0. Panthers coming to bat when we come back. And we are back for the home third inning, as that's grounded through the middle for a base hit. Very quickly, Panthers have the leadoff man on. Over PA. Tried to catch the correct pronunciation of the batter's name, though I just lost the number as the lineup turned over. I believe they went with Dwignan. So that's what I'll go with the rest of the way. That pitch misses low. Eric Dwignan with the leadoff hit. And he's running as that's fouled away. At the plate here, Grayson Pizzonia. Count on Pizzonia even at 1 ball and 1 strike. I did expect to come and have a table. That is not the case. Next year, I'll have to come prepared with the printed rosters for every game. Typically what I do is I have multiple computers set up, and one of them is a split screen of the live stats in both rosters side by side. Could not do that with this setup, and I'm paying for it right now. So that misses up and away. Count 2-1 on the Adelphi right fielder. Runner going again, and that's fouled off. Count even at 2 now. Comes the 2-2. Runner stays put, and that misses down and away for ball 3. So after allowing the first Panthers base hit of the game, Keelty has run the count full on Pizzonia. He looks toward first, and they'll check on Dwignan again. Runner going. Pitch called strike 3. And the throw skipped off the glove of Flashner. It's going to be close, but undoubtedly a stolen base and a strikeout as well. So Pizzonia goes down looking, and Dwignan steals second. James Eden, the batter. Eden flew out to center his first time up. And he takes up and in ball 1. The 1-0 on its way. And that breaking ball's in for a called strike. Keelty was able to get Pizzonia looking on the backdoor breaking ball. Pizzonia, left-handed hitter, now faces the right-hander, Eden. And that's chopped to the left of Keelty. He has it and throws to first in time. Dwignan moves up to third, and there are now 2 away. Johnny Katusko will be the batter. Katusko walked his first time up. And Keelty's first pitch, a breaking ball in for a strike. He's had really good command of the breaking ball in this game. Has been able to throw it for strikes when he's needed. Comes the 0-1. That pitch bounces in. Good block by Kehoe. Count even at 1-1. Keelty's 1-1 on its way. And that misses outside. 2-1 the count now on the Panthers' left fielder. Tying run stands at third. 2 outs here in the third. And another good breaking ball in for a strike. Katusko didn't like the call. Keelty has not shied away from that breaking ball behind in the count. Willing to throw it in seemingly any count early in this game. The 2-2. Another breaking ball in the dirt. Or as I said the other night, that brown-colored turf. Count full again, 3-2. Katusko has already walked, and he will walk for a second time. Joe Pellegrino will be the batter. Runners now on the corners with 2 outs. And in a situation like this, you might see the Panthers try and induce a rundown between first and second. That is definitely not out of the question. And if the Dolphins don't oblige, you take that free base. As Pellegrino looks at a breaking ball strike. You see that a lot more in softball, but we did see it at times last year on the baseball diamond as well. Comes the 0-1. And that gets through Kehoe to the backstop. That will bring home the tying run. That one didn't reach the plate, so it's going to go down as a wild pitch. But there was a chance for Kehoe. It just got through his legs. Count 1-1, and that's in for a called strike 2. So the game is tied on the wild pitch. And that looked like a fastball. And we've seen that more than once where Keelty has come up way short on the fastball. Kehoe has blocked all of them until that one. Pellegrino was just able to stay alive there. Count still 1-2. Score now tied at 1. Go ahead run in scoring position. And that misses high. The pitch count really beginning to climb for Keelty. We have him unofficially at 60 with this next pitch. 2-2, swung on and missed. Got it to chase the fastball on the outer half. And the strikeout swinging retires the side. but not before a wild pitch brings in the tying run. Dolphins and Panthers knotted up at 1 through 3. Fourth inning from Ebbets Field in Myrtle Beach. Dolphins and Panthers now tied at 1. A.J. Vigliotti leading things off for the Dolphins here in the road fourth inning. Has a 2-2 count. I apologize for being a bit late back from the inning break. I had to check in on our softball live stream back at home. Nick Bavona on the call as the Dolphins open their season against Chestnut Hill College. That game being played in New Jersey. Nick traveled with the team on the bus, got wired up in the press box with internet, and he's good to go. Here the count is full on Vigliotti, 3-2, and that's it well out to right field. That ball carrying toward the warning track where it's dropped. And Vigliotti will reach on the error. That's the second misplayed ball in the outfield for Adelphi. One of them was lost in the sun. That went down as an inside the park home run. That goes down as an E9. And Vincent Weigel will be the batter. Off the bat, I thought Vigliotti got a bit more of that one. But there was time to settle underneath that ball in right field. And it just hit off of the glove of Pizzonia out there. Vincent Weigel now ahead 1-0, takes a big swing and comes up empty for strike one. Count even at 1-1. And Weigel hits one well out to right center. This time the play is made. And Vigliotti retreats back to first. There's one away. That will bring up TJ Leno. And Leno crushes one deep to right field. Did he get enough of it? Yes, he did. That ball is out of here. TJ Leno with a 2-run homer. And the Dolphins go back in front. It's now 3-1. Welcome to the program, TJ Leno. Had a tough first night on Friday and comes back here today with a 2-run homer. That will bring up Jaden Waterman. And Waterman takes low for ball one. And Waterman did not offer at that pitch, had to get out of the way. He's now ahead 2-0. So the Vigliotti run unearned. Leno's run, of course, is earned. And Waterman hits one softly to the left side. And the throw across the diamond is in time. 2 away in the inning. That will bring up Anthony Cetera after the nice play by Ramos, retired Waterman. Cetera 0 for 1 with a ground out, takes out of the zone for ball one. Comes the 1-0. That's outside. These two teams did meet twice last season. Here in Myrtle Beach, it was the Panthers taking the win in walk-off fashion. Another game that the Dolphins led late and saw get away in the late innings. Then later in the year, the Dolphins got that win back as they won decisively at the CSI Baseball Complex. Cetera ahead in the count now, 3-0. And he takes a strike. If Cetera can keep the inning going, Jack Kehoe would be next. And the 3-1 is on the outside corner. Cetera didn't think so. And the count's now full, 3-2. And the payoff pitch is inside for ball 4. So Cetera draws the 2-out walk. And now Jack Kehoe will be the batter. And there's going to be a conference at the mound here. The entire Panthers infield gather around their starting pitcher. Thus far, Billy Kind has allowed 3 runs on 3 hits. Has been victimized by a couple of errors. One impactful, one not. As we had the dropped ball in right field as well as a throwing error from behind the plate. However, Chris Palomini was ultimately stranded at third base. So Jack Kehoe steps in as the action resumes. The Dolphins have 2 outs here in the road 4th inning. Anthony Cetera, the runner, over at first base. 2 runs already in the inning on the TJ Leno 2-run homer. And Kehoe takes up high for ball 1. Cetera wants to run. You can see it. There he goes. And the throw is in with plenty of time as Cetera is thrown out, stealing second. So the inning ends on a caught stealing. And the Dolphins will settle for just the 2 runs. They now lead it 3-1, headed to the home 4th. Albert Ramos will lead things off here in the home 4th inning. His team now trailing 3-1 after tying the game in the previous inning. Ramos at the plate 0 for 1, flew out to right his first time up. He's ahead 1-0 here. And that breaking ball misses low for ball 2. Ramos ahead 2-0 now. And he's swinging 2-0, grounds 1 to short. Flashner, low throw, scooped again by Vigliotti. Vigliotti has been flashing the leather in this game. Second time he's had to scoop a throw over at first base. 1 away in the inning now. Brian McCleary will be the batter. And he takes a called strike. McCleary struck out his first time up, 0 for 1. The 0-1 is fouled back. Of the 3 days here in Myrtle thus far, this is easily the best weather that we've had. Didn't check the thermometer at all. Not that anyone uses one anymore, but has to be, I would guess, somewhere around 50 degrees, maybe a bit more. I'd say close to 50 degrees today. It's been 20 degrees less than that each of the last 2 days as McCleary strikes out for the second time. For a team that played what was a taxing doubleheader yesterday, not in terms of personnel, but in terms of the outcomes. 2 games where the team pitched pretty well, but scored just a combined 2 runs. I think it's a bit easier not having to contend with temperatures in the 20s and 30s. Especially on the second day of a back-to-back that is not just a traditional back-to-back, but instead back-to-back doubleheaders. I'm certainly not complaining either. Pitch misses away, and quickly count is 2-0. At the plate here is Michael Robinson. Keelty looking for a 1-2-3 inning, and he might have it. Weigel to Vigliotti in time. And Robinson offering at the 2-0 pitch, grounds out to third to retire the side. It's a quick 1-2-3 fourth inning for Aiden Keelty. His first start of the season is off to a nice start. The Dolphins lead it 3-1 after 4. And we are back from Ebbets Field in Myrtle Beach. And I'm sure our audience heard back at home, I was confirming with assistant coach James Marticos that this is indeed a 7-inning game. Dolphins played a doubleheader yesterday. Game 1 went 9, Game 2 went 7. Both games today will be 7 innings. No pitching changes yet in this game as Billy Kind returns to the mound for Adelphi. Count evened up at 1-1 on Jack Kehoe following that last foul ball. Like he fouled it off his leg, perhaps. Good show of sportsmanship by the Panthers to walk that ball back out to the mound. Count 1-1 on the Dolphins' right fielder. And he takes outside. And now Kehoe is ahead 3-1 as he takes ball 3 high. Sudden wind gust threatening to take down our camera, also known as my cell phone. And Kehoe again fouls a ball off his leg. That runs the count full, 3-2. Kehoe does wear the shin guard on that front leg. Looks like he missed it twice. 3-2 the count. Here comes the payoff pitch. And that's hit sharply right at first base. Not having to move on that play was Pellegrino. He makes the snag, and there's one away. That will bring up Michael Kehoe. Kehoe 0 for 1 with a ground out his first time. And he takes away for ball 1. And the 1-0 is in for a called strike. Comes the 1-1. There's a swing and a miss. So what we're going to try and do between games is cut the stream. We'll go offline, which means that if you are watching on YouTube, you will get the loading icon that spins repeatedly when there is no connection. That is okay. When we come back for game 2, the stream should pick up right at the start of our second game. Kehoe fouls that one away, and it remains 2-2. Going offline and trying to come back creates the potential for dropped connection. Don't want that. So we're just going to stay connected, but take the stream offline. As that's grounded to the left side, and the diving stop by Ramos, not enough. He got a glove on it, but could not keep it on the infield, and Kehoe has a one-out single. His first hit of the game. Now we'll bring up Chris Palomini. And we may have a pitching change here. And I do believe Adelphi has made the call to the bullpen. So with the pitching change, we will step aside and take a quick break. When we come back, Chris Palomini at the plate. And the Dolphins have a runner on with 1 out. though I don't see anybody coming out of the bullpen, so we may keep it right here. I was certain that I saw a motion to the right field bullpen, but Kine might be staying in the game, so we'll wait and see if there is indeed a pitching change coming here. And it looks like Kine is going to stay in, so I think what the motion was an indication to the umpire that this is the team's second mound visit. I think that's what the motion was. So it was not a motion to the bullpen. It was a motion to the umpire signaling a second mound visit. No pitching change. We stay right here. One away in the road, fifth. Dolphins looking to extend their lead as Palomini takes down and away for ball one. Comes the 1-0. That's fouled away. Palomini 1 for 2 at the plate. Grounded out his first time, singled, stole second, and was stranded at third back in the third inning. The 1-1 pitch, a breaking ball up over his head, and it's 2-1. And the 2-1 is down and away for ball three, so Palomini now ahead 3-1. Michael Flashner waiting on deck, and the Dolphins looking for some insurance here in the fifth. There goes the runner, but that misses up and in for ball four. So Palomini's on with a walk. Kehoe moves into scoring position. And now Michael Flashner will be the batter. And here comes the pitching change. So the Panthers will now go to the bullpen. And with that, we will step aside. The Dolphins have 2 on with just 1 out here in the fifth. They lead it 3-1. So Michael Flashner will be the batter for the Dolphins with 2 on and 1 out here in the fifth inning. Dolphins lead it by a pair. And the Panthers turn to Matthew Curto out of their bullpen, 6'8" right-hander. His first pitch on its way, and that misses down and in for ball one.
Hey, the Lakers need a center.
See if perhaps Flashner takes a strike. That first pitch missed badly. And he does take strike one. One and one on its way. And that's hit through the right side for a base hit. Racing home, Kehoe. Throw to the plate, cut off. Palomini goes to third, and it's an RBI single for Michael Flashner. As the Dolphins go in front by 3, it's now 4-1. And I said it earlier, there was a big hole on the right side for Flashner, and they gave him that hole again. This time he takes advantage. That will bring up A.J. Vigliotti. Vigliotti 0 for 2, grounded out and reached on an error. Chance here for Vigliotti to really break this one open with an extra base hit. Dolphins will surely take a fly ball here as Vigliotti takes ball one. With Palomini's speed over at third, it will not take a deep fly ball to score him. There goes the runner from first. And the Panthers will throw, and then throw again behind Palomini. So Flashner steals second. Palomini had a throw come in behind him over at third. He stays put. Count even now on Vigliotti, 1 ball and 1 strike. And they're going to intentionally walk him. So in a 1-1 count with first base open, the Panthers elect to intentionally walk A.J. Vigliotti. And that will leave it to Vincent Weigel. And Weigel looks at a strike. Weigel with a huge opportunity here. Bases loaded, 1 out. Infield in about halfway over at first base. Maybe a bit more than that. As Weigel falls behind 0-2. Middle infielders at double play depth. Ramos standard depth over at third. The 0-2. Down low. Tried to get him to chase the breaking ball. Weigel would not oblige. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. One and 2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. A big cut by Weigel on 1 and 2, but he comes up empty. And that will give TJ Leno a chance. Bases loaded, 2 outs now. And Leno, who has already homered in this game, comes to the plate with a chance to give the Dolphins some cushion. First pitch, hit on the ground to second. Easy play there. And Leno is retired for the final out in the road 5th inning. Dolphins will settle for 1. Their lead is now 3 runs. Our score, Staten Island 4, Adelphi 1. Aiden Kilty back to the mound for the 5th inning. His team now has a 3-run lead as the Dolphins went in front 4-1. However, Dolphins missed out on an opportunity for much more. Stranded the bases loaded. Could not get a run in with less than 2 outs from third either. As that's it out toward right center field. Ranging to his right is Jack Kehoe, and he makes the catch. It's a quick 1-pitch out as Jack Wishner is retired to open up the home 5th. Eric Dwignan will be the batter here. Dwignan singled his first time. Scored the only Panthers run. That was helped along by a steal of second, and then later a wild pitch. Dwignan behind 0-1 here with that big swing and miss. Comes the 0-1. That's hit a mile high in foul territory. Weigel gives it a look, but that's out of play. Kilty now ahead 0-2. And we've seen a lot of Aiden Kilty out of the bullpen the last couple of seasons. Missed a chunk of last year, or at least wasn't used for a large portion of the season. But since his arrival, he's been one of the more reliable Dolphin relievers. This may be the best he's looked as a Dolphin, as I nearly engaged the commentator's jinx there. But Palomini makes the catch on the move. There are 2 gone now. He is cruising right along. He's now retired the last 6, looking to make it 7 straight here, and his pitch count is relatively low. Grayson Pizzonia, the batter. Unofficially, I have Kilty at 73 pitches. It's probably been a few more than that. As I manage the live stream and the scoring at the same time, it's very easy to miss a pitch. Oftentimes I do. But as long as we get those plays input correctly, we're all set. That pitch misses down and away. At the D2 level anyway, the NCAA does not track pitch count. 2-0. In for a called strike. 2-1 the count on Pizzonia. Panthers leadoff man 0 for 2 with a fly out and a strikeout. And that's hit a mile high out to deep left field, but Waterman has room, and he makes the catch to retire the side. It's a second straight 1-2-3 inning for Aiden Kilty. He and the Dolphins lead it 4-1. Jaden Waterman will lead off the road 6th inning against Matthew Curto. Curto did a good job to escape a bases-loaded jam in the 5th. He's back out there for the 6th, and Waterman fouls the first pitch back. Jaden 0 for 2 with a couple of groundouts in this game. Not that there was much doubt, but was hit in the face last night by a tag. That busted up his nose a little bit, but he's back in the lineup. Count 1-1 now on the Dolphins left fielder. And he hits one through the right side and into right field for a base hit. Panthers have really been favoring that left side of the infield defensively, and that's opened the door for a couple of Dolphins to find a hole on that right side. That will bring up Anthony Cetera. Cetera 0 for 1 with a walk. He's showing bunt and takes low. Dolphins, a team that utilizes the bunt quite often. We've seen it for all the years I've been calling games for the program, as that was offered at and missed on the bunt attempt by Cetera. No throw behind Waterman. But the way that Jack Kehoe's been swinging the bat, I like the bunt in this spot. Kehoe had a 3 for 4 game yesterday. Hit one really hard his last time up, but straight into the glove of the first baseman, Pellegrino. Count now 2-1 on Cetera. Bunt is still on, and he pulls it back to take ball 3. So Cetera trying to give himself up, and Curto pitching around the strike zone here. Comes the 3-1, and that's bunted foul. The count runs full. I presume since they were looking to bunt that they probably send Waterman on 3-2. We'll see. Waterman not running, and that's low for ball 4. So a good at bat by Cetera. Didn't get the bunt down, but he does draw the walk. And that will bring up Jack Kehoe. Kehoe 0 for 2, has grounded out and lined out to first. Dolphins with nobody out have 2 on. Kehoe looks to bunt and takes outside. Now some pitchers do have a bit of an issue pitching to a hitter who's squared up. I'm not sure if that's in play here, but something to keep in mind as Curto was not having a problem throwing strikes previously. And that's bunted well. Curto took a look at second, but gets the out at first. And it's a successful sacrifice for Jack Kehoe. That will bring up Michael Kehoe. And the Dolphins will send a pinch runner over to second base. That's Chris Riley. Get that change in our stats. And we're ready to go. Michael Kehoe, the batter. Kehoe 1 for 2, singled his last time up. And he takes low for ball 1. Dolphins missed a chance to tack on to their lead in the 5th, hoping to avoid the same fate here in the 6th. Infield in all around for Adelphi. And Kehoe rips one into left field for a base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Riley. And no throw to the plate. It's a 2-run single from Michael Kehoe. He's now 2 for 3, and the Dolphins lead it 6-1. Pinch runner pays off there as Riley comes in to score on the single. And it's back to the top of the order with Chris Palomini. Palomini in this game, 1 for 2 with a walk. He's behind in the count here, 0-1. And Palomini takes high. That's taken inside for ball 2, so Palomini fell behind 0-1, quickly ahead 2-1 now. Pitch on its way. And that is hit well out to left center field. That's down for a hit. Kehoe thought about third, but he stops at second. And the line keeps on moving for the Dolphins. Back-to-back hard-hit singles. And CSI now has 2 on with 1 out. And Michael Flashner coming to the plate. Flashner 2 for 3, had that inside the park home run back in the 1st inning. Sun assisted as it was and singled his last time up. Panthers going to hold a conference at the mound here. They've utilized 2 mound visits already in this game. There's not a coach involved in that discussion, however. The players instead gathering around the bump. It's a long discussion that it looks like is about to be broken up. The Dolphins have now scored in each of the last 3 innings. 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 2 here in the 6th. And still a chance for more. CSI with 8 hits in this game. And their starting pitcher, Aiden Keelty, has allowed just 1. One run on 1 hit for the Panthers. Kehoe, the runner at second. Palomini on first. 1 out here in the 6th. That pitch misses away. Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. That misses up and away. 2-1 now. There is action in the Panthers bullpen looking out toward left field. Not much going on in the Dolphins bullpen. Really no surprise there given Keelty's pitch count, as Flashner is now ahead in the count 3-1. Curto now up to 31 pitches, 16 of those for strikes. Most of the misses have come here in this inning. Flashner fouls that one away. It's now 3-2. 3-2 the count on the Dolphins shortstop. And that's sliced foul. Flashner putting together a good at-bat here. No more gaping hole on the right side. They are not holding the runner on first any longer. They were last at bat. Really no need with the runner on second. Curto looks towards second and delivers. Down and in, ball 4. The Dolphins now have the bases loaded. They draw their second walk of the inning to go along with 3 singles. And A.J. Vigliotti might have a chance to put this game out of reach with a big swing right here. Keep in mind, in case you missed it when I highlighted this earlier, but this is a 7-inning game. And Vigliotti takes a called strike. Vigliotti behind 0-1. He was intentionally walked his last time up. And he takes a called strike 2. Back-to-back breaking balls. Clearly not the pitch he wants. He's taken it twice. Would Curto dare triple up on it? Probably would try and waste one here, down and away. And instead, Vigliotti hits it on the ground. Could be 2. They get 1 at second, and they turn the 6-4-3 double play. And the Dolphins will settle for 2 in the 6th. Good job by the Panthers to limit the damage. Curto escapes further trouble. And we head to the home half of inning number 6. The Dolphins lead the Panthers 6-1. James Eden will lead off in the home 6th inning for Adelphi, as Aiden Keelty is back out to the mound for the Dolphins, putting together what has been a tremendous season debut. Ryan Kehoe pitched very well in his season debut on Friday. Gerard Santos, not bad in his debut yesterday either. Had to work through a lot of trouble and some tough luck in that game. Had a bunch of infield dribblers go for hits. There were some miscues behind him as well, that prolonged innings. And even though he didn't allow any unearned runs, those added pitches definitely matter. As Eden flies out to right field, and quickly there's one away here in the home 6th. Dolphins obviously have a lead in this game. Still 5 outs to play with for Adelphi, but looking back at the first 3 games, the Dolphins have to be pretty pleased outside of about maybe 1 or 2 innings max with their pitching. They had the one bad inning in the 8th on Friday, but outside of that 1 inning, Dolphins pitching has been really good during the first 4 games of the season. The starting pitching has been borderline exceptional, as that's hit well out to right, and that will fall onto the warning track in fair territory and bounce over the wall. It's a ground rule double for Johnny Katusko. Joe Pellegrino will be the batter here. Pellegrino at the plate 0 for 2, flew out to right and struck out in his first 2 at-bats. Panthers now with a runner on second, 1 out. And that's hit well to left. Waterman chasing it toward the wall, and he goes down at the base of the fence, can't make the catch, and he's going to stay down. And that's going to turn into an inside-the-park home run, the second that we've seen this game, and with that, attention shifts to Jaden Waterman in left field, as he went crashing into the base of the fence. And obviously we hope he's okay, but the Panthers will certainly take it. Great effort by Waterman just to make that play close. And you could hear that thud against the fence from over here behind home plate. His entire team is heading out there, and the Adelphi trainer making his way onto the field, and the trainer from the facility as well has been called down to the field. So Waterman remains down on the warning track. As they attend to him, we'll step aside and take a break. When we come back, the Panthers have shaved 2 runs off of this Dolphins lead. It is now 6-3, Staten Island over Adelphi. And we are back from Ebbets Field in Myrtle Beach, where Jaden Waterman was just helped off the field. He appeared to be okay, just a bit shaken up after crashing into the outfield wall. But Aiden Keelty had to stand around and wait for quite some time. And he's very quickly behind 3-0 here on Albert Ramos. And he has issued the 4-pitch walk. So obviously, the Dolphins catching a tough break with that ball to left, turning into an inside the park home run. And Waterman going down, shaken up, and obviously it may have impacted Keelty, who missed with 4 straight. And just like that, the Panthers are 1 batter away from bringing the tying run to the plate. And that really changes things as the Dolphins will go to the bullpen here. Trying to get a look at who it is coming in out of the Dolphins bullpen, and for the second time on this trip, it will be Nick Pusinelli. So Pusinelli becomes the first Dolphin to appear in 2 games this year. And he inherits a runner on first with 1 out. Now, I mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, but Pusinelli did his job in the 7th inning in the game on Friday night. Made the pitches to get out of that inning and was betrayed by his defense. However, in the 8th, he was hit pretty hard and got tagged for a crooked number in that inning. So he's looking for a bounce-back effort here. Obviously, I mentioned it before as well, the extra work that comes from miscues in the field behind you, even if they don't result in runs, those extra pitches add up. And I think that's in part what we saw on Friday night when Pusinelli came into the game. The inning became much more taxing and a much longer inning than it should have been. And I think that definitely impacts a pitcher. So the Dolphins will be looking to keep this lead where it is at 3 runs. The Panthers obviously would love to get a bit closer than that entering the final inning. They still have 2 outs to play with here in the 6th, 5 more in the game. And with just a couple of swings, the complexion of this game has changed completely. Adelphi now right back in it. And they'll look to tag the Dolphins bullpen for some runs and perhaps recreate what they did last year when they walked off against the Dolphins here in Myrtle Beach. Brian McCleary at the plate. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Pusinelli would love one right here. And McCleary fouls the first pitch off his leg. Comes the 0-1. That's chopped foul. So McCleary immediately behind 0-2. And an opportunity here for Pusinelli to pick up that strikeout. At the very least, if you're the Panthers, you'd like to advance Ramos at the scoring position. That's the bare minimum here. That pitch is taken high. Count now 1-2. Pusinelli takes a look over toward first at Ramos. Taking his time here. Long look in, delivers. And that's grounded to third. Where will Weigel go? He goes the short way for 1. And they cannot turn the double play. But a good play there by Weigel to go to second with it. 5-4 on the putout. And McCleary reaches on the fielder's choice. Michael Robinson will be the batter here. Robinson 0 for 1 with a walk. First pitch on its way, a breaking ball, low and outside, ball 1. Pusinelli comes set. The 1-0 pitch. On the outside corner for a called strike 1. The 1-1 pitch. Low for ball 2. Well, this is the batter Pusinelli wants to get with 2 outs. You do not want to see the tying run come to the plate at any point, but especially if you can avoid it here in the 6th. 2-1, fouled away. And Pusinelli is 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. Runner on first is McCleary. 2 away in the inning. Count 2-2 on Robinson. And the 2-2 gets away. A wild pitch from Pusinelli moves McCleary into scoring position. Count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. A walk brings the tying run to the plate. Panthers now with another man in scoring position. And he got him with the high fastball. Pusinelli goes up the ladder, and Robinson swung through it for strike 3. That will do it for the Panthers in the 6th. They pick up a pair on the inside the park home run. The Dolphins now lead it by 3. We head to the 7th. Staten Island over Adelphi, 6-3. And we're back from Ebbets Field in Myrtle Beach, just 1 batter late. I'm working along with our crew back at home as well. They are trying to fix an issue with our softball live stream, had to assist with that. New pitcher in for Adelphi is Jacob Lee. And the inning opened with a throwing error at shortstop, allowing Vincent Weigel to reach. TJ Leno, the batter now, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. That one's chopped foul. Leno behind 1-2 now. The Dolphins looking for some insurance here in the top of the 7th. Once again, 2 7-inning games today. This is the first of a pair between the Dolphins and Panthers. The Adelphi has worked their way back to within 3 runs as Leno strikes out swinging. So, unsurprisingly, Jaden Waterman came out of the game. He is replaced by John Harrington. So that change actually occurred following the inside the park home run. So I'm going to go back and input that now. So I have to go dark for just a minute here. It's been a while since I've done this here. All right, I think we've got it. All right, we're good to go. Harrington now in the game. The count 2-1. comes the 2-1. And a good stop there behind the plate on that pitch down and away. The count runs to 3-1. Weigel, the runner on first. They have an out on the scoreboard. I think that's incorrect. In fact, I know that's incorrect. That one's hit a mile high, straightaway center. The sun factoring in again, but the catch is made. And they do have 2 outs up on the board. And Leno did make an out. He struck out. So there are 2 outs in the inning. And Chris Riley will be the batter. Riley came on as a pinch runner. And see, outs like that are the things you miss when you're making a scoring adjustment. Double duty, not ideal, but we've made it work. And Riley takes inside for ball 1. Long look in from Lee ahead of the 1-0 pitch. And that swung on and missed. Count 1-1. And that gets to the backstop, allowing Weigel to take second. So the Dolphins now with an opportunity for some insurance, a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. Count now 2-2 on Riley. Two and two count, 2 outs, Weigel on second. Dolphins hoping to extend their 3-run lead. Pitch on its way. On the inside corner for a called strike 3. The front door breaking ball got Riley looking. Good pitch by Lee. Turns the Dolphins aside in the road 7th. Panthers down to their final 3 outs. They come to bat when we come back. Nick Pusinelli back to the mound for the Dolphins here in the 7th inning. As rather hilariously, one of the Dolphins was stretching down the left field line. They had to get him off the field. Didn't catch who that was as the bat is pulled back there by Jack Wishner. Pusinelli came up and in on him. And that pitch is off the inside corner for ball 2. Two-0 pitch is in for a called strike. In this inning, 8-9-1 due up for Adelphi. That's fouled back by Wishner. Count now even at 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes the count. Pusinelli looking for the first out here in the 7th. And Wishner just got a piece. Count remains even at 2. Pitch from Pusinelli. A breaking ball in for a called strike 3. Wishner didn't like the call as that pitch clipped the outside corner, but the Dolphins will certainly take it, and there is one away here in the home 7th. Dolphins 2 outs away from their first victory of the season. And did he go? He did not. Eric Dwignan able to hold up on that swing. He takes ball 1. And the 1-0 is chopped toward the middle and through for a base hit. And the Panthers have a 1-out base runner needing just one more to bring the tying run to the plate. That will bring up Grayson Pizzonia. Pizzonia 0 for 3. He's flown out twice and struck out in 3 at-bats. First pitch on its way, low for ball 1. So at the time that our game day article was authored yesterday, the Panthers were 1-1. By the time I was finished, they were 1-2. Just caught that now as I check their upcoming schedule, but Adelphi played Mercy yesterday in a doubleheader, not a single. And they dropped both of those games to the Mavericks. They defeated Queens in their opener. So they're 1-2. The Dolphins 0-3. And Adelphi hoping for a chance to get back to 500. And now they are 1 pitch away from the tying run coming to bat. Pusinelli behind here, 3-0 on Pizzonia. He can afford to attack him here. And that misses low for ball 4. So Pizzonia draws the walk, and the Panthers will bring the tying run to the plate. James Eden will be the batter. He's 0 for 3, a couple of flyouts, and a ground out to the pitcher. Dolphins just need Pusinelli to throw strikes here. One swing can't beat you yet. That will change here. If James Eden, I should say, is able to get on as Kehoe makes a nice block behind the plate. Very easy when a player has a first name that could also be a last name to make that mistake when you're using Stat Crew to let you know who's at bat. Kehoe brings that baseball back out to Pusinelli to have a word with him ahead of this next pitch. He's behind on Eden 1-0. We do apologize if our video feed is not pushing correctly. It looks like we may be having another internet issue here. As that pitch is taken for a ball. Count now 2-0. Pusinelli looks towards second. And the 2-0 is in for a called strike. That's a pitch Pusinelli had to have. Count now 2-1. That's fouled away. If our poor network conditions persist, we may go voice only to make sure you don't miss the conclusion of this game. Count 2-2 here on Eden. The pitch from Pusinelli. On the inside corner for a called strike 3. He got him with the breaking ball. Front door breaking ball in on the hands. And it broke back over the inside corner. Big strikeout for Nick Pusinelli and the Dolphins, who are now 1 out away from their first win of the season. At the plate here, Johnny Katusko, and he takes that breaking ball low for ball 1. Katusko, 1 for 1, has reached base 3 times, 2 walks and a double. Here comes the 1-0. And that's hit sharply into right field for a base hit. 1 run will not score, as the Panthers wisely will be conservative here. However, that will leave the force open all around. And the bases are now loaded with 2 outs in the 7th. And Joe Pellegrino will be the batter. Bases loaded, 2 outs, 7th inning. Dolphins lead it 6-3. 1 out away from their first win. The Panthers looking for a repeat of last season. And that's in for a called strike 1 to Pellegrino. Both dugouts have come to life as this game draws near to a conclusion. 0-1 the count on Pellegrino. Long look in here from Pusinelli. He won't have to worry about the base runner, so that certainly helps. Here comes the 0-1. And that's swung on and missed for strike 2. Pusinelli ahead of Pellegrino. No balls and 2 strikes. CSI 1 strike away from their first win. Pusinelli comes set. The 0-2 on its way. And that's a breaking ball down low for ball 1. Count now 1-2. Pusinelli nods and comes set. The 1-2 on its way. And that misses away. Dolphins dugout was hopeful there, but that pitch was outside. It's now 2-2. A walk here moves the tying run into scoring position. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pusinelli comes set. The 2-2 pitch. A breaking ball that almost hit him. So from 0-2, the count has run full. Three and 2 the count on Pellegrino. Merry-go-round will be in motion with 2 outs. Keep that in mind. An extra base hit now, likely to tie the score. The 3-2 pitch, fouled away. Pusinelli looks in. Comes set. Another 3-2 pitch upcoming. Runners going. Fouled off again. High drama here in Myrtle Beach. The Panthers down to their final out in the 7th inning of a 7-inning game. Game 1 of 2 between these two teams. Pellegrino putting together a good at-bat here against Pusinelli. Once again, it is 3-2. Pusinelli comes set. A third 3-2 pitch. Fouled off or not. And they call it a fair ball. Game over. No protest from the Panthers as a dribbler less than a foot in front of home plate ends the game. The Dolphins are in the win column for the first time in the 2025 season as they defeat Adelphi University by a final score of 6-3. Game 2 set to begin in approximately 30 minutes. We will rejoin you then. This has been Joe Foreman on the call. Once again, our final score in Game 1, the Dolphins 6 and the Panthers 3. And we are back from Ebbets Field in Myrtle Beach for Game 2 of today's doubleheader between the College of Staten Island and Adelphi University. Get you the lineups for both teams shortly. We'll probably do it as each team bats in their half of the first inning. But on the mound for the Dolphins, Francesco Bonvini making his season debut, and his first pitch is over for a strike to Grayson Pizzonia. Pizzonia got the start in Game 1 as well. Bonvini's pitch on its way, and that's a breaking ball on the outside corner for a called strike. The 0-2 pitch on its way, and that misses outside. The Dolphins took the win in Game 1 by a final score of 6-3. That being said, it did not come easily. In the final inning, Adelphi loaded the bases and failed to score with 2 outs in the 7th. And that's hit sharply on the ground, foul, out of play down the first base line. Count remains 1-2 on Pizzonia. He also led off in Game 1, was 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. 1-2 pitch. And there's a good breaking ball from Bonvini. He got Pizzonia to swing right over the top of it, and there's one away. Eric Dignan will be the batter. Dignan also got the start in the early game. However, he hit 9th in that game, was 2 for 3 at the plate with a run scored. He earns himself a bump up to number 2 in the order. That breaking ball nearly hit him inside for ball 1. For those who were asking during our first game, we cannot raise the camera any further simply because there's nowhere to put it. And the reason for that is because the camera is my cell phone. There's just nowhere we can rest it. We can't have a camera resting in the backstop. Don't have a tripod as Bonvini misses inside. I did think about bringing the tripod with the wireless transmitter. However, they need that back at home for basketball. They could get away with it not being there for baseball and softball back home while I'm gone, but they cannot get away with it being absent for basketball. The camera that can mount the transmitter is my personal camera, so I could have taken it, but didn't want to leave them hanging back home. So my cell phone it is for the rest of this game, plus hopefully some of the games down at softball. We'll see if the facility accommodates that. That remains to be seen next week. Bonvini's 2-1 is fouled away, and the count is now even at 2-2 on Dignan. I did mention it in the live chat after the game was over. If you are interested in a fisheye view and a bit of a better angle, Highcast does have video available for all of these games. However, a subscription is required. So you can pair the voice from our Sportsnet stream with the video from Highcast, and I think you're good to go. As Bonvini has his second strikeout, Dignan goes down swinging, and there are now 2 away.
Now for bat number 23, Johnny Kwiatkowski.
Johnny Katusko is the batter. He also got the start in Game 1. Was batting third in that game as well. Officially was 2 for 2 with a run scored. Drew 2 walks. So a nice game at the plate for him as he takes ball 1. Francesco Bonvini hoping to continue what has been a trend of pretty good starting pitching for the Dolphins on this trip. They've had a couple of starters go deep into a game having allowed just a run. As Bonvini finds the zone there at that breaking ball. Obviously, Keelty went on to allow 3 in game 1, but that was due in part to the aftermath of Jaden Waterman crashing into the fence. He got charged with 2 tough earned runs on that ball, but there's no other way to score it in that situation. As that pitch runs up and in. Dolphins were also the beneficiary of a sort of fluke play in left field. No easy task for whoever is out there, and for the Dolphins in this game, it will be John Harrington. Waterman not in the lineup in game 2. That skips in. Low and away for ball 3, so Bonvini behind 3-1 here. Walks were an issue for him at times last season. But we've seen it early in this game. When he's in the strike zone, he has good stuff, really nice breaking ball. And a big part of his game is going to be consistency throwing strikes as he issues the walk here.
Number 26, Joe Pellegrino.
Joe Pellegrino will be the batter. Meanwhile, for the Dolphins, making his first appearance behind the plate, Jake Giovanone. So Bonvini paired with a new catcher. Oftentimes, pitchers pair well with certain catchers. We'll see how this battery fares in this game as the pitch to Pellegrino misses low. Bonvini checks over at first. Comes the 1-0. And that misses down and away. So Bonvini now is missed with the first couple against Pellegrino after issuing the walk to Katusko. Count 2-0 here. And that misses for ball 3. So after a pair of quick outs, Bonvini in danger of walking his second straight batter. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. And that misses badly for ball 4. So Bonvini has now issued back-to-back walks. And what looked like it was going to be a relatively clean inning has turned into a dangerous situation here with 2 on and 2 outs. Albert Ramos, the batter. Ramos in the early game 0 for 2 with a walk. Pitch on its way. And that is low. After some good breaking balls to the first 2 hitters, Bonvini hasn't been close with several to the next 3. And you need to entice the hitter with that pitch, at least outside of an 0-2 count. Really can't afford to miss that badly. Comes the 1-0. And that catches the inside corner. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. Check towards second, the 1-1 pitch. Way short of the plate, it skips in, and both runners will advance on the wild pitch. Two and 1 the count on Ramos, now 2 in scoring position with 2 outs. And that's off the outside corner for ball 3. Bonvini got the first 2 outs very quickly. He is now missed with 14 of his first 23 pitches and is in danger of issuing a 3rd straight walk. comes the 3-1. Not close, ball 4. And Bonvini has now walked 3 straight.
Off the bat, number 4, Anthony Riglioso.
Anthony Rigogliosi is the batter. And pitching coach John Esposito heads out to the mound to speak with Francesco Bonvini. Esposito, of course, former ace of this Dolphins pitching staff, has pitched professionally with the Staten Island Ferry Hawks. There he joined CSI Baseball head coach Mike Morrow, who serves as an assistant on that staff. It was recently announced that Coach Morrow will be back with the Ferry Hawks, so that's good to see. We always look forward to CSI night at SIUH Community Park each year. One season, some of the game day staff, along with myself, ended up in the suite. Can't complain about that. In fact, we ended up in the suite twice. Certainly won't complain. As the first pitch to Rigogliosi misses down and away for ball 1. Rigogliosi didn't play in game 1. Bats here at the bases loaded and 2 outs, ahead 1-0. And they call a balk. Not exactly sure where the balk was. Bonvini telling the home plate umpire to ask for help. I didn't see much. Trying to look in and see perhaps where they got him for the balk. Also want to make sure I input the scoring correctly. The conversation ongoing. Mike Morrow has now joined the discussion. So it looks like what the home plate umpire is saying is that Bonvini planted his front foot forward and then drew it back. And now the infield umpire, alongside Bonvini, is trying to show him where he went wrong. But I think a lot of the time what it comes down to is what was done is something that he's been doing for now a very long first inning. And it wasn't a balk before. That's generally where these discussions go. And we got that balk incorrectly now. The discussion finally is over. And that has to impact the pitcher in terms of really throwing him off a bit, because now he has to be conscious of not doing what induced the balk call as he tries to work with 2 on. That pitch in for a strike, and the count is even at 1. So Bonvini got the first 2 outs quickly, and this inning has really dragged since. I have him unofficially at 26 pitches, 10 for strikes. Rigoglioso at the plate here, or Rigogliosi, excuse me. Count 1-1, and that gets to the backstop. No chance to cut down a run at the plate, and another wild pitch has made it 2-0. Count now 2-1 on the Panthers center fielder. And an inning that started off with great promise has now really spiraled into nearly a 30-pitch inning. That's it on the ground to short. Flashner had to double clutch, and he lost the play. That one is a 50-50 call. He was moving away from that play, but man, I think a lot of that comes down to knowing the base runner too, whether or not that gets scored a hit. For now, it's going to go in as an error on the double clutch, because without it, I think he had him. The question always comes down to whether or not it was routine. But the run scores. And it's now 3-0 Panthers. We'll go back to the video on that play. We actually have a good look at it as that gets by Gio Vanone into the backstop once again. Count now 2-0 on Jack Tate. Comes the 2-0, and that's inside for ball 3. Dolphins bullpen just beginning to stir now. It's 3-0 on Tate. And he walked him. That will bring up Matt Ryan. Ryan did not play in game 1, gets his first at-bat of the day with 2 on and 2 outs here in the first inning. Given how long this inning is run, it seems like the Panthers would be up by more, but Bonvini quickly got the first 2 outs. And now with 2 on, he'll try and keep it a 3-0 game. And there's a passed ball. That one got straight through Giovanone. And there was a cross-up there, which is how it got past Giovanone. The Dolphins were petitioning that that should not be considered a mound visit. But there was definitely a cross-up there, and you could see it as Giovanone had to reach across his body. He got a glove on it. It just went past him. Once again, 2 in scoring position now. 2 outs here in the first. And a good block there by Giovanone. It's 2-0. If Bonvini loses Ryan, that could be the end of the line. Given that the Dolphins are now 5 games deep into this trip, they may be inclined to give him one more batter if the outcome here is a walk. It's 2-0. That's chopped foul. Two and one upcoming. That's a breaking ball in for a strike. So Bonvini a strike away now. He's thrown 36 pitches in the inning. He has a 2-2 count here on Matt Ryan, hoping to finally put this inning to rest. Comes the 2-2. And that's hit well out to left center field. That will find the gap and roll all the way to the fence. Palomini scoops it up on the warning track as Ryan coasts into second base with a 2 RBI double. It's now 5-1 Panthers, though the scoreboard initially read 6.
45, Jack Wishner.
I think the big question now is whether or not the reliever is ready. And it appears as if the answer to that may be no, because with contact like that, I thought the Dolphins would probably go to the bullpen there. I think I saw Michael Santorello jog down to left field, if I'm not mistaken. So I do believe he is the Dolphin throwing in the bullpen. Dolphins now trail 5-0, and that should get him out of this. A high fly ball into right center is caught by Kehoe. So the Panthers score 5 two-out runs in the first. The Dolphins come to bat for the first time when we come back. And we are back from Ebbets Field in Myrtle Beach, where the Dolphins trail 5-0 through just the first half inning of play. During the break, I went back and took a look at that ground ball to short, and taking a look at the replay, if Flashner fields that cleanly, he has the out at first. So that's going to stand as an E6 in the first inning. And the Dolphins starter, Francesco Bonvini, officially will only be charged with 2 earned runs as a result. Perhaps 3, I'll have to double check it, but Bonvini the beneficiary of that scoring decision. Meanwhile, Dolphins bats came to play in Game 1. CSI scored 6 times and stranded a few on base. So the Dolphins certainly are not out of this. And I think the Dolphins really got what they needed in terms of offensive production in the first game, as with that 6-run outburst, they broke a string of consecutive 1-run games in which they scored just the run, a 4-1 loss and a 5-1 loss against SNHU yesterday. So the Dolphins offense breaking out of what was effectively a 2-game slump. And really, it was close to a 3-game slump, as 3 of the 4 runs scored in their opener came in the first inning. So the Dolphins breaking out of that scoring rut in a nice way during the first game. Meanwhile, the Panthers have really come to life since the midway point of our first game in this doubleheader, and they've been swinging some hot bats since about the midway point of Game 1. So if you're Adelphi, you have to feel pretty good about what you've done in the last few innings. The Dolphins now have a steep hill to climb, albeit in just the first inning. First pitch of the game to Chris Palomini is low. First pitch of the game to a Dolphin anyway. On the mound for Adelphi, Tyler Bonsignor, and he is greeted by a base hit from Palomini. That one rocketed into the left center field gap. And Palomini will coast into second base standing with a leadoff double. Good start for Palomini and the Dolphins, as he was all over that pitch from Bonsignor. And Michael Flashner will be the batter. So Flashner, in his first plate appearance here in Game 2, gets an early opportunity with a runner in scoring position. They are holding Palomini on with the second baseman here, so another big hole on the right side. They retreat on the pitch, and that is sliced foul. Very unusual to see a team play a left-handed hitter this way, where they've given so much room on the right side in 2 straight games. Obviously an exception here with Palomini on second base, but in Game 1 as well, the Panthers often shifted, favoring the left side. There goes Palomini. It's bunted in the air, and Bonsignor makes the catch. He throws to second and doubles off Palomini. What a play by Tyler Bonsignor. A diving catch as he sprinted off the mound, fully extended on the turf. He got up and threw behind Palomini. And he's having a discussion with Mike Morrow right now, and based on the body language, it doesn't look like that steal was a sign given by Coach Morrow. Could be wrong on that, but the nature of that discussion appeared that way. What a play by Bonsignor. Two gone now as A.J. Vigliotti hits one out to deep right center, and that is down for an extra base hit. That rolls to the base of the fence in what is a deep right center field corner, and Vigliotti will stop at second with a two-out double.
To the plate number 10, TJ Leno.
That will bring up TJ Leno. Leno homered in game one. Lefty on lefty matchup. We haven't seen many of those as that's taken low. Count 1-0 on Leno. He takes up high. Dolphins have put a couple of good swings on Bonsignor here in this first inning, but the Adelphi starter helping his own cause with his glove. Could very easily have allowed a run already. Gets a second chance to get out of this as Leno looks at a strike. Count 2-1 on the Dolphins' second baseman. Bonsignor comes set, looks towards second and delivers. There's a big swing and a miss by Leno for strike two. And Leno looks at that pitch on the outside corner for a called strike three. So Bonsignor strikes out Leno, and that will do it for the Dolphins in the home first inning. A pair of doubles by Palomini and Vigliotti, but the Dolphins do not score, and they trail 5-0 after one. And we are back for the second inning from Ebbets Field in Myrtle Beach. Grayson Pizzonia will lead off in inning number 2. Pizzonia was retired to open the game, one of two Panthers who went down back-to-back. It looked like Francesco Bonvini was in line for a quick first inning, and then command issues began to plague him, along with a loud double into the left center field gap. Dolphins are actually out-hitting the Panthers 2-1 through the first inning. However, Adelphi scored 5 times. That pitch misses down and away. Also, going back to the play in the last inning where Palomini was doubled off second, I thought about it during the break, and perhaps what the Dolphins were looking to do there was have the batter bunt toward third and force the pitcher to make a play, because obviously if Palomini's running, the third baseman would have to cover. The bunt ended up in the air toward the mound as that's ripped through the right side by Pizzonia for a base hit, and the Panthers have the leadoff man on in the second. But that was just something that came to mind during the break. If the Dolphins perhaps were trying to bunt toward third, then forcing the pitcher to make that play with Palomini running. It didn't come to mind immediately because the bunt was nowhere near that area of the field. The bunt was in the complete opposite direction. So just a thought I had during the break. So Pizzonia is on with single through the right side. And Eric Dignan will be the batter. Dignan behind 0-1 here. Dignan was retired his first time up, and the rally began behind him. Runner going. Giovanone throws, and it skips in. Leno was hoping that perhaps Pizzonia overslid the bag. He did not, and he's in with the stolen base. Count 1-1 on the Panthers' second baseman, and Bonvini's pitch is fouled back. Count now 1-2. Bonvini comes set. Long look in and delivers. That's fouled straight back into the plate. Count 1-2 here on Dignan. And that's hit on one hop to second. Leno on the backhand throws to first in time. And there's one away. Pizzonia stays put at second. And Johnny Katusko will be the batter. This is where the rally started for Adelphi in the first. 3 straight walks in E6, a 4th walk, and then a double. And they have the runner picked off. It's going to be 1-5 on the put out over third. Weigel a bit shaken up on the slide. I don't envy Weigel following the end of that play, but they'll give him a moment. I think everyone out there feels for him at the moment. So they'll just let him take his time, and there will be 2 out in the inning when this at-bat resumes. They come out with some water for him from the bench. I'm not sure how much that's going to help him here. But he is going to stay in the game. And we still await the first pitch to Katusko. In terms of pitch count, what will officially go down as a caught stealing with the runner out at third base is big for Bonvini. He now has a chance for a quick second inning. That pitch misses low, ball 1. Comes the 1-0. That's chopped foul. There's a swing and a miss at that breaking ball. And those are the pitches we saw from Bonvini to the first 2 batters. That breaking ball around the strike zone, enticing hitters, and a lot of movement to it. Once those pitches became non-competitive, that's when the trouble started. Comes the 1-2. And I think he got him on the half swing. He did. Katusko offered at that pitch, and he's a strikeout victim. So Bonvini faces the minimum in the second. The Dolphins hope that gets him back on track. They trail 5-0 heading to the home second. J.J. Hunter will lead off for the Dolphins here in the home second inning. And Hunter looks at that pitch high for ball one. And Hunter hits one well out to left center field. And the Dolphins have their third extra base hit of the game. Hunter heads for second, and he is in standing with a leadoff double. Now the Dolphins have hit Bonsignor really well early in this game. Were it not for that diving catch and double play at second base, this score could look a lot different. That is the third loud double into the outfield gap. Vincent Weigel, the batter now, looks at a strike. Weigel, in the early game, got the start. As he looks at that pitch down and away, he was 0 for 4. Count 1-1 on the Dolphins' third baseman. Bonsignor comes set, looks towards second a couple of times and delivers. And Weigel fouls that one off. At the very least, the Dolphins are hoping Weigel can move Hunter to third. Still just the second inning, but keep in mind, once again, if you're just joining us, this is a 7-inning game. Comes the 1-2. And Weigel chops it toward the middle of the diamond. Played on the backhand behind second base. And staying anchored to the bag was Pellegrino. Pellegrino just kept his toes on first base. And the Panthers get the out there. Hunter does advance. And John Harrington will get a chance here with a runner on third and just one out. Harrington came on for Jaden Waterman in game one after he crashed into the outfield wall. Harrington takes high for ball one. Comes the 1-0. That's in at the knees for a strike. And Harrington looks at that pitch low, 2-1 now. Bonsignor comes set. 2-1 pitch upcoming. And that's bounced to third. Hunter will score. And Harrington is out at first. So it looked like they gave it a thought. Ramos looked toward home, but instead took the sure out. And the Dolphins are on the board. It's 5-1. Jake Giovanone, the batter, he takes up and away for ball one. For Giovanone, this is his first at-bat as a Dolphin. He grounds one to short. And Giovanone running hard. May have beaten that out anyway. The throw is a bit low. But we'll get a look at that on replay following the inning. That's always where the final call is made, but once the shortstop waited back on the ball, think that's where the Panthers lost the play. At short in game 2, it's Jack Wishner. Got the start in game 1 as well. Jack Kehoe, the batter, falls behind 0-1. A replay from this angle actually makes it quite easy to determine whether or not it was an error. But Giovanone was running it out all the way and may have beaten it. Once Wishner decided to wait on that ball at short, I think that's where he lost the play. Kehoe behind 0-1. They'll check on Giovanone again. They're paying extra close attention to Giovanone at first as that's fouled back. Kehoe now in a 2-strike hole. Dolphins looking to keep this inning going, trailing 5-1. That's it on the ground toward the hole on the right side. Backhanded by Pellegrino, and he makes his second nice play. Pellegrino kept it on the infield with the sliding stop on the backhand and won the foot race to first to retire Kehoe for the final out of the second inning. Dolphins will settle for 1. They now trail by 4. Our score, Adelphi 5 and Staten Island 1. And we are back from Myrtle Beach for the start of the third inning. Took a look at the ground ball to short during the break, and obviously it's really tough to tell exactly where the ball is when, but it was so close that we're going to stay with the call of infield hit. That one sails over the head of Pellegrino. He's ahead 1-0. And the 1-0 pitch is grounded through the middle for another Adelphi base hit. That will bring up Albert Ramos following the leadoff single by Joe Pellegrino. That's the third Adelphi hit of the game. The Dolphins still have the advantage in the hits column, 4-3. Pitch from Bonvini on its way. That's in for a strike. And that one gets to the backstop. Another wild pitch. When the breaking ball is missed, it is missed badly, and that's given Giovanone fits behind the plate. Then there was the one cross-up as well. Comes the 1-1. That's chopped to first. Vigliotti waiting for it. It finally gets to him, and he applies the tag. So Pellegrino will advance to third. Ramos out, 3 unassisted. And the Panthers have a chance to get their run back. Anthony Rigogliosi is the batter. Rigogliosi reached on an error his first time up. And that pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. Comes the 0-1. That breaks inside. One and one coming, and that's low for ball 2. Dolphins have the infield in as expected, trying to cut down that run from scoring. Comes the 2-1. Good block there by Giovanone. Bonvini now behind 3-1. Long look in ahead of the 3-1. And that's hit to short. No play at the plate. Flashner goes to first with it, and they get the out there. It's an RBI ground out for Rigo Gliosi. Pellegrino scores, and Adelphi goes back in front by 5. It's now 6-1. Now we'll bring up Jack Tate. Tate walked his first time. And that breaks down and away for ball 1. Comes the 1-0. That's it right back to Bonvini. He needed all 6'4" of his frame to get up and grab that one, but he flips to Vigliotti to retire the side. Panthers get back the 1 run they surrendered in the second. Their lead is once again 5. Adelphi 6, Staten Island 1. The home third inning about to get underway from Ebbets Field in Myrtle Beach. Adelphi leads Staten Island 6-1. Dolphins will send the top of the order to bat, 1, 2, and 3 here in the home third. Palomini, Flashner, and Vigliotti due up for Staten Island. Palomini hit the ball well his first time up, crushed a double into the left center field gap. And he's picked up right where he left off last season. He's hitting with power, he's hitting to all fields, and has made solid contact several times already through the team's first 4 games plus. First pitch to Palomini, chop to third. This will be a close play. Ramos throw in time. Great play by Albert Ramos. Not only to make it close, but to get him. As Palomini has good speed, he is retired on the dribbler. And there's one away. Michael Flashner will be the batter. Flashner hit into that unconventional double play back in the first. Bunted it up in the air, diving catch by Bonsignor, who then threw to second and doubled off Palomini. Flashner ahead here, 1-0. And that's sliced foul. That's taken at the letters for a called strike 3. Flashner goes down looking for the second out, and A.J. Vigliotti will be the batter. Earlier in the day, as I've mentioned, far too many times this weekend. We were running low on data. If we do run out of data again, the live stream will end there. So keep that in mind moving forward. If you do lose your feed, it is not because of anything on our end. We just simply ran out of hotspot data. That hotspot is funded by yours truly. So unfortunately, if we get kicked off again in the late innings, I don't think I'll be topping that off again, as that sliced foul. Vigliotti quickly behind 0-2. Bonsignor delivers and misses high. Comes the 1-2. That's grounded down the third baseline, just foul. Bonsignor allowed the run, but he's been efficient through this game. He's at about the 30 to 35 pitch mark right now, our pitch count unofficial. We have him at 32. Comes the 2-2. And Vigliotti looks at a called strike 3. A couple of strikeouts in the inning for Tyler Bonsignor. And he is through 3 with his team leading 6-1. Matt Ryan will lead things off to begin the 4th inning from Ebbets Field. Ryan doubled home a couple of runs in his first at-bat back in the first inning. At the time, that made it 5-0. It's now 6-1. And again, Ryan rips a base hit into center field. That's twice now that Ryan has hit the ball very hard. And that will bring up Jack Wishner. Wishner is 0 for 1, flew out his first time. That brought the first inning to a close. Wishner showing bunt, offered at it. Wishner in the Adelphi dugout didn't think so. There is still stirring in the Dolphins bullpen, but Francesco Bonvini has shown good fight in this game. After a really tough first inning, he's rebounded to allow just the 1 run over the next 2. Weigel will go to first with that ball. The right decision there, and they get the out at first. Ryan moves up to second, and there's 1 away. Back to the top of the order now with Grayson Pizzonia. Pizzonia 1 for 2, singled and struck out in his first 2 at-bats. That's hit a mile high. Foul ground and out of play. Count 0-1 on the Panthers' right fielder. And a baseball ended up on the field from in the Dolphins' bullpen. Bonvini checks second a couple of times and delivers. Down and away. 1-1 coming. Outside. Bonvini with the runner on second, working very deliberately. Was working at a slower pace even with the bases empty, but the runner on second is something he's paying very close attention to. Only one look that time as he misses down and in. Bonvini behind now, 3-1. First base is open. One away in the inning. And that finds the corner for a strike. Payoff pitch coming. And Bonvini will check towards second again. Bonvini comes set once again ahead of the 3-2. And he misses outside. I'm sure the Dolphins, if they can get him through it, would love for Bonvini to finish this inning. Unofficially, we have him at about 70 pitches. So there's got to be some gas left in the tank, you would think. But with 2 on here and 1 out, an extra base hit could spell the end. That's hit well out to center. Palomini should have room. And he will make the catch shy of the warning track. 2 gone in the inning. Runner did not try and challenge Palomini's arm at the end of that play. Strong throw in from center. And the runners stay put. First and second, 2 outs. And Johnny Katusko will be the batter. Katusko 0 for 1, has walked and struck out. Pitch from Bonvini on its way. Breaking ball misses low. They're probably wrapping up at about this time, but updates from CSI Softball from earlier. Dolphins won their season opener against Chestnut Hill. 5-0, complete game shutout for Kennedy Ruth in that game, as the count evens up on Katusko at 1-1. Game 2, the Dolphins fell behind 1-0. Olivia Wanzer hit a 3-run homer. That put the Dolphins ahead 3-1. Eileen Balderas then doubled in a pair and made it 5-1. So Dolphins were leading the second game early as well, as that's chopped to short. And they'll get the out at second to retire the side. So the Panthers are denied in the 4th. Francesco Bonvini is through 4 innings, and the Dolphins will come to bat trailing 6-1. And we are back for the home 4th inning, where the Dolphins are appearing as if they're going to send up a series of pinch hitters here. Nico Rodriguez will lead things off. I also believe I saw Johnny Bowman come out of the dugout. So we will see if he does indeed bat. And I think all indications are that he will. Had a bat in his hands. So the Dolphins look like they're going to give some of the reserves an opportunity here in a 5-run game. Rodriguez ahead in the count here, 1-0, looks at a strike. Rodriguez got plenty of playing time for the Dolphins last season. Hit in the 280s last year. As that's dribble to the left side, could be trouble. Bonsignor, low throw, scooped by Pellegrino. Another nice play by Pellegrino over at first base. And Bonsignor did not have an easy chance there either. I think it goes without saying he's defended his position well today. J.J. Hunter will be the batter now. Hunter doubled his first time up. One of a couple of long doubles for the Dolphins into the left center field gap, and he swings through that one half-heartedly. He's behind 0-1. And the 0-1 catches the outside corner. That breaking ball misses down and away. Dolphins do have an exhibition on the schedule tomorrow. That game will not be scored. It will not be covered here on Sportsnet. So for me, this is my final game in Myrtle Beach. I head down to Florida tomorrow night. Spend a few days there waiting for the arrival of CSI softball as that's fouled away. We will have all of those games almost certainly with the exception of a game on the 5th, but we'll talk more about that a bit later. Count 2-2 now. That's fouled back. Men's basketball currently is in the running to host a home game in the conference playoffs. And there is a very real chance that happens. If that game does take place, it would be on March 5th, which means I would have to return to New York. Definitely not going to miss what would be the program's first home playoff game. So I would return to New York on March 5th and then head back to Florida on March 6th. It remains to be seen if the Dolphins will host that game. As Hunter hits one out to left, that's down for a hit, his second of the game. But if the Dolphins host that game, I will be there. And things should be a lot clearer following the game on March 1st. Unfortunately, that doesn't give me much time. Johnny Bowman is the pinch hitter here. Bowman has gotten a couple of at-bats now during this trip as he looks at a strike. As for baseball, in my absence, they will play quite a bit. They will host 3 separate home dates while I'm away. As Bowman lines one off the glove of Bonsignor, flipped to second for one, and the throw to first, high, and the tag is applied. We'll have to get a look at the replay to see if it was 1-4-6-3 or 1-6-4-3. Either way, it is an inning-ending double play, and the Dolphins are turned aside once again in the 4th. Our score, Adelphi 6, Staten Island 1. New Dolphins pitcher here in the 5th inning. Michael Santorello into the game for CSI. Left-handed reliever will face Joe Pellegrino to get things started in the road 5th as Pellegrino looks at a strike. Pellegrino 1 for 1 has walked and singled. Scored a couple of runs. And that's hit pretty well to the left field corner. And Harrington reaches over the shoulder to make the catch. Nice play there in left field by Harrington in what has been a very difficult left field today for the outfielders, due in large part to the sun, which isn't much of a factor right now. That will bring up Albert Ramos. And Ramos takes down and in. Ramos at the plate, 0 for 1 with a walk. Grounded out to first in his second at-bat. And the 1-0 is grounded toward the middle and through for a Dolphins base hit. Dolphins did make another change in the field as well. Anthony Satera came in to play shortstop. And there were changes all over the place for the Dolphins, in fact. Mike Cunningham is at first. So I'm going to try and go back and import those changes in a minute. I have been spared many substitutions throughout the weekend. I'm thankful for that. So Flashner is out, Satera is in. At first base, replacing Vigliotti is Cunningham. I believe there's also a new center fielder as well, trying to get a look at who that is out there. I'll have to catch him on the way in. But we got those lineup changes in for now. At the plate now for Adelphi is Anthony Rigogliosi. He was showing bunt. He's ahead 2-0. The runner goes. That's ball 3, and Dolphins missed with ball 4 there, so the scoreboard was a ball short as I was putting in those changes. So Rigogliosi draws the walk. Ramos moves up to second, and Jack Tate will be the batter. And I think that is still Palomini in center field, so he stays in the game. As that's chopped foul, I think Jack Kehoe remains in right as well. So I have all of the defensive changes. It's Cunningham, Rodriguez, Satera, and Bowman on the infield. Giovanone stays in behind the plate. Outfield left to right, Harrington, Palomini, and Kehoe. And all of those outfielders, at least Palomini and Kehoe, are needing to shield their eyes from the setting sun. So the left fielder is spared. The center fielder and the right fielder right now having to deal with the excess sunlight. At the plate in this game, Jack Tate 0 for 1 has walked and grounded out to the pitcher. Santarella behind him here, 2-1. That skips in. Almost hit him. Giovanone has been busy trying to block low breaking balls behind the plate. That's obviously a pitch Bonvini likes. He was tasked with blocking many of those and now doing the same for Santarello. Comes the 3-1. Up and away, ball 4. Santarello has walked the bases loaded. And Matt Ryan is coming to the plate. Not sure that's who you want to face right now if you're the Dolphins. 2 for 2, 2 RBIs, has singled and doubled in his 2 plate appearances. And both times he has hit the ball hard. Here he gets the right-left matchup. A matchup that traditionally favors the hitter, as that's chopped foul. 0-1 the count on the Panthers catcher. Bases loaded, 1 out in the road 5th inning. The 0-1. Breaking ball inside. It's now 2-1. Santarello really hasn't had command of that breaking ball. He's missed with it badly. And with nowhere to put Ryan, going back to the fastball on 2-1 could be dangerous. Dolphins need their reliever to make a big pitch here. And he does. He went back to the off speed. 2-2. Count even at 2. Bases loaded, 1 out here in the 5th. And that's hit the other way toward the corner. Fair ball. And that may clear the bases, but it skips over the wall down the right field line for a ground rule double. Add 2 more RBI to Matt Ryan's day. He now has 4 in the game. He's doubled home 2 more. And the Panthers now lead the Dolphins 8-1. That will bring up Jack Wishner. Wishner 0 for 2. Flew out to right and grounded out to third in his 2 at-bats. And he fouls that one away. Dolphins, through their first 4 games, did not have to use much pitching. They were set up pretty well coming into this game, needing 7 more innings out of that pitching staff. As that's hit sharply to short. Cetera with a nice sliding stop, and he throws out Wishner for out number 2. The run does come in to score from third, and it's now 9-1.
Now to the plate, number 12, Grayson Pizzonia.
That will bring up Grayson Pizzonia. Pizzonia 1 for 2 with a strikeout, single and a walk. He takes down and away. So I mentioned baseball returns home with a very busy schedule. And that begins on March 1st. If I recall, they visit Caldwell on the 1st and host Caldwell on the 2nd. They then play Georgian Court on the 4th. And I believe they host Caldwell again on the 7th. I think that's right. As that's hit well out to right field. Kehoe giving it a look, and it one-hops the fence. Heading for third now is Pizzonia, and the throw will not be nearly in time. He is in standing with an RBI triple as Matt Ryan comes in to score the 10th Adelphi run. Panthers have hit Santorello hard here in the 5th inning. And the Dolphins are just looking for 1 more out of their reliever to get through this. That breaking ball misses low. Upon returning home, Dolphins will have a few days to regroup and will play Chestnut Hill on Saturday the 1st. That game is on the road. They visit Chestnut Hill, and then they host Caldwell on Sunday the 2nd. They then host Caldwell again for a single game on the 7th and visit Caldwell on the 8th. They play back-to-back doubleheaders against the Cougars on Friday and Saturday of next week. That follows a double at Lincoln on Wednesday the 5th, a single against Georgian Court on Tuesday the 4th, and then the aforementioned games against Caldwell on Sunday the 2nd. So from the 2nd through the 8th, Dolphins are going to play 9 games. That is a lot of pitching that they're going to need for those, and unfortunately I will miss all of those games as I will be down in Florida with softball. My Sportsnet colleague, Nick Bavona, will be there on the call for all of those, which are home games. Those, of course, being the 2nd, the 4th, and the 7th. Meanwhile, here in Myrtle Beach, the Dolphins come to bat in the home 5th, trailing 10-1. We'll be right back here on CSI Sportsnet. So for the Dolphins in the last half inning, it was Chris Riley in center. He took what I believe was a list of defensive alignments that Chris Palomini wears around his belt. I saw that still affixed to the belt of Riley and thought it was Palomini from a distance, but it was Riley in center during the last half inning. So going to go back and add that in now.
Up to the plate, number 35, John Harrington.
John Harrington will lead off for the Dolphins here in the fifth. That's in for a strike. And Harrington takes down and away there. Comes the 1-1. That's a knee-high strike. Comes the 1-2, and that missed badly. Count now full on Harrington, 3-2. And he takes high for ball 4. So Harrington's on with a walk. And Jake Giovanone will be the batter. Giovanone singled in what was his first at-bat as a Dolphin. He comes to bat here with a runner on and nobody out in the fifth. And he takes a strike. And they'll check on Harrington over at first. Comes the 0-1, and that breaking ball's in for a called strike 2. Count 0-2 on the Dolphins catcher. And they will check on Harrington again. Couple of looks toward Harrington at first. And the 0-2 is lofted to third. And it was caught by Ramos for out number 1. And that will bring up Jack Kehoe. Kehoe, Giovanone, Harrington, and Hunter, the Dolphins who started this game that remain in. The top 4 in the lineup, plus Vincent Weigel, have all come out as Kehoe swings and misses. The new Dolphins have swung the bats pretty well so far down here in Myrtle Beach. A lot of Dolphins picking up their first hits. Kehoe with the 3-for-4 game. But right now, Bonsignor is just cruising. Kehoe behind 0-2. And he gets under that one just a bit. He knows he just missed it. You could hear his frustration as the catch is made in right field for the second out. That will bring up Chris Riley. Riley's gotten extensive work as a pinch runner dating back to last season. He's had a couple of at-bats already this year as that's fouled back. Riley behind 0-1 here. he takes outside. Riley at the plate on the season 0 for 3. Count here 1-1. And he grounds one to third. They'll go to first with it. And the throw was dropped by Pellegrino on a day where he's made so many great plays. He just didn't close the glove on that one. And he wants a new glove. Might have lost it through the webbing. So the inning continues on the error. And the Dolphins certainly take it. Unofficially, and this is very unofficial at this point as I've been attending to the live stream quite a bit, but I would put Bonsignor probably close to 70 pitches. Still a relatively low number considering the number of base runners. Dolphins only being out hit 7-5, yet they trail 10-1, obviously due in large part to the walks. Cetera behind 0-1 here. Anthony Cetera getting his first at-bat since checking in on the infield as he grounds one to short, and they go the short way over to second base to retire the side. Dolphins strand a pair in the fifth. They still trail 10-1. Mike Santorello back to the mound for the Dolphins. Here in the sixth inning, his team trailing 10-1. The Dolphins, of course, would love it if he could perhaps get them 6 more outs here. Though the Dolphins may have an arm in mind for the seventh inning, we'll see. The sun has set over what has become an eerily quiet Ripken experience here in Myrtle Beach. This very well could be the last game on right now. Don't hear much else echoing through the complex. The Dolphins, as I mentioned before, play an exhibition tomorrow. But this weekend was dedicated largely, if not entirely, to the teams out of the Northeast. A lot of CACC, ECC, and any 10 programs making their way down to Myrtle this weekend. As that's grounded to third, Bowman has to hurry. And I don't think he had a chance anyway, as Kotosko is going to be credited with an infield single. Credit to Kotosko for running that out. And Joe Pellegrino will be the batter. Pellegrino 1 for 2. Walked, singled, and flew out in his first 3 at-bats. First pitch on its way, and that's grounded foul. For those still with us, thank you for tuning in all weekend long. I've learned a lot of lessons about what the setup is going to require next year. Hopefully we can get our wireless HDMI transmitter, camera, and tripod down here next year. But it was needed back home. Couldn't bring it. I do have an iPhone tripod, but that would not reach over the fence. Plus, the area behind home plate is not only fenced, it is also netted. And you wouldn't be able to see much through the netting anyway. Basically, it would be the same view, just a bit higher. So in all likelihood, next year, we would get a tripod with the wireless transmitter, charge the camera battery, and place that somewhere down the outfield line. That would be the way to get the best view. And obviously, we hope to make that improvement next year. It's hard to believe that I've been broadcasting CSI baseball now. This is my 10th season, and I've never made this trip with the team. As that's fouled back. Count remains 1-2 on Pellegrino. But I thank everyone who has tuned in throughout the weekend for their patience. We got on at the last minute more than once. We got on a bit late earlier today. My wireless hotspot bill has been run through the roof, but that's okay. As that's fouled off again. Have to find if there's a setting that allows the additional data to automatically be purchased when data is exhausted. There has to be a way to do that. We'll work on that before softball. Count even here on Pellegrino with 2 balls and 2 strikes. Of course, you can still follow CSI Baseball on the ECC network all season long. Every home game will be there. And that begins when the team returns home with their first home game on Staten Island to be played on March 2nd. Meanwhile, a battle brewing here between Pellegrino and Santarello as that's popped up in foul ground. Cunningham gets to it and makes the catch. One away in the inning. And Albert Ramos will be the batter. Ramos at the plate, 1 for 2, walk, ground out, single. And the first pitch that he sees is a breaking ball for a called strike. And the 0-1 is grounded to third. Bowman has it. He goes to second for 1, and no chance to turn 2 there. Nicely done on that play by Bowman. And there are 2 away in the inning.
Now to the plate, number 4,
Anthony Rigogliosi is the batter. He's 0 for 2, reached on an error, grounded out to short, walked in 3 at-bats. And he looks at ball 1 here. To be honest, I am shocked that the stream has made it as far as it has in this game. We may very well make it to the finish, though. I am often guilty of the commentator's jinx. We are closing in on the end of this game. The Dolphins trail 10-1 as we play on here in the top of the 6th inning. That's popped up and foul ground out of play. Count now 2-1. And that one way out of the zone, skips to the backstop. Wild pitch on that allows Ramos to advance to second. Count now 3-1 on Rigogliosi. And the 3-1 is popped up. I lost it, but Anthony Cetera knows where it is, and he makes the catch at short to retire the side. A scoreless 6th inning for Michael Santarello. He and the Dolphins trail 10-1 coming to bat in the home 6th inning. Mike Cunningham will be the batter to lead off for the Dolphins here in the home 6th inning. And in a 9-run game, I'm going to make a point that I make to my staff all the time. It is 0 Mike Cunningham, not number 0. Very particular about not saying number 0 as Cunningham takes a strike. I know if any of them are watching back at home, they'll have a good laugh about that. But every time we hear number 0, the entire crew makes eye contact, whether it be from across the gym or one end of the room to the other. All of our PA announcers know not to do that. They'll draw my wrath. Count even at 1 on Cunningham. Meanwhile, Tyler Bonsignor back out to the mound once again for the 6th inning. And for the 3rd time in now the first 5 games for the Dolphins, an opposing pitcher has gone at least 6 innings against them, whether it be in a start or in relief, allowing 1 run or less. Or at least Bonsignor is approaching that. Hopefully, if you're a fan of Adelphi, didn't just incur the commentator's jinx again. What we can say is that 3 separate pitchers have gone 5 innings against the Dolphins, allowing a run or less. This is Nico Rodriguez at the plate. And he takes low for ball one. And quickly Rodriguez gets ahead 2-0. 2-0 on its way, and that's grounded to third. Ramos to first in time, and there are two gone. Jandel Brito will be the batter, replacing J.J. Hunter in the DH spot. So Brito makes his Dolphins debut. And perhaps we may see another debut or two before this game is over. We'll see. 2 away here in the home sixth inning. And that's hit sharply through the left side for a base hit. How about that? On the first swing of his first at-bat as a Dolphin, Brito is on with a base hit. That will bring up Johnny Bowman. Bowman entered the game 0 for 1 on the season, looking for his first hit as a Dolphin here. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike. And they'll check on Brito over at first. Comes the 0-1. That's chopped to second. They'll go the short way with it. 4-6 on the putout, and the side is retired. Dolphins get a 2-out base runner in the 6th and do not score. We head to the 7th. Adelphi over Staten Island, 10-1. New pitcher for the Dolphins here in the 7th inning as Ryan Fiore will take over. Thought perhaps we could see another debut on the mound. Instead, Fiore will make his second appearance of the season. This is really the first game that the Dolphins have been let down by their pitching. Otherwise, it was really just one very bad inning against Southern Connecticut State that hurt them dearly. Obviously, 10 runs across 2 innings, never acceptable, but it was really the 8th inning where the pitching is what was at fault. But outside of that one inning, the pitching had been pretty good through the entirety of the first 4 games. And now the Dolphins trailing 10-1 send Fiore back out there. Fiore, as I mentioned, making his second appearance, worked 3 shutout innings in his last outing. That came against Southern New Hampshire yesterday. He pitched in the second game, the 5-1 defeat, but gave the Dolphins good innings out of the bullpen. And Jack Tate will be the first man he faces upon entering here in the 7th. And Tate greets Fiore with a base hit to center. So Tate is on to lead off the road 7th inning. And Matt Ryan will get another at bat with a man on base. Can't ask for many more opportunities than Ryan has had, and he has certainly cashed in. 3 for 3, 4 runs batted in, a pair of doubles and a single. Came around to score following his second RBI double. And he fouls that one away, out of play. Oh, and 1 the count on Ryan. And he takes a strike. Fiore ahead of Ryan, 0-2 now. And Ryan lines one into the glove of the diving Bowman. He throws behind the runner at first, not in time, but Johnny Bowman flashing the leather over at third base. Makes another nice defensive play. And how about what we've seen from the corner infielders today? Great plays on both sides throughout both games. Not many miscues in that area of the field. And for the first time today, Ryan has been retired. As I mentioned previously, he was 3 for 3. A pinch hitter was just announced into the game. I thought I heard an announcement. We'll get that input in a moment. This is always where it gets challenging. You never know if those pinch hitters are going to stay in the game. I didn't want to engage the commentators' jinx again, but I was going to issue a thank you to Adelphi for not making the substitutions the Dolphins made in this game, because it makes my job a lot easier, especially while also monitoring a live stream. Justin Wilkinson is the pinch hitter here, and he's now ahead 2-0. Wilkinson, a left-handed hitter. He waits the 2-0. And he takes a strike on the inside corner. And again, Wilkinson looks at a strike on the inner half. Well, if you're Fiore here, you have to think you go back inside. Maybe he's trying to set him up. Fastball on the outer black. We'll see. And that's hit a mile high out to right. That ball carrying a bit on Kehoe. He ranges back and will make the catch just shy of the warning track. And Grayson Pizzonia will be the batter. So Pizzonia hits for himself here. And selfishly, I know there are plenty of players who want opportunities, but I hope that is the last pinch hitter. Makes my job so much easier. And that's hit sharply off the glove of Cunningham and into right field for a base hit. Well, Cunningham had a chance, but definitely not a routine one. And Adelphi has another hit here in the 7th. Eric Dignan will be the batter. Dignan 0 for 4 in this game. He was bumped up in the lineup after a good game 1. I believe he went from 9th to 2nd, if I recall. And he looks at a breaking ball strike. Comes the 0-1. Outside. So as the weekend, for me anyway, winds down, just wanted to talk a bit about what this trip has looked like in terms of what the players experience here in Myrtle Beach. And obviously I wasn't a part of all of it as that swung on and missed. But I can tell you that baseball does this right. And I thank Mike Morrow and the program for bringing me along. I know that this is a trip that my former Sportsnet colleague and CSI SID Dave Pizzuto always enjoyed. He always talked about how much he enjoyed it. And I got to occupy his seat at the head of the dinner table last night, so that was a privilege of mine as Bowman has another chance here, and he throws out Dignan. We'll talk a bit more about what this trip looks like for the team and my experience in Myrtle Beach alongside them when we come back. Dolphins down to their final 3 outs, trailing 10-1. And we are back from Myrtle Beach. Dolphins down to their final 3 outs. John Harrington will lead things off for Staten Island as a new pitcher, Michael Tufo, comes in for Adelphi. And I did not jinx Tyler Bonsignor. He did make it through 6, allowing a run. Another great outing for a pitcher against the Dolphins, but Dolphins here in the 9th look to at the very least get some more reps for some of the bench players and Harrington, who started a couple of games. So Harrington has been in there since the beginning. Relieved Jaden Waterman, who left the first game with an injury. So that's fouled away again and out of play. But as I was saying before the break, talking a bit more about the trip, the team has some very nice accommodations down here in Myrtle Beach. Everyone, or at least groups of players, get their own individual apartment-style residence. The team was nice enough to provide me my own. And it felt just like home for me, as I recently moved into my own apartment in Matawan. It was nice. Team meals after each set of games, each day here in Myrtle Beach. They got down here about a day and a half ahead of me. Got a practice in, I would presume, ahead of the game on Friday, practicing on Thursday, of course. And then, of course, getting down to business on Friday with their first game against Southern Connecticut State. But it's been a really good time, and this program does it right. All of the support that pours in, a lot of it coming from me buying pretzels at the concession stand, though I only say that in jest. They don't charge me for the pretzels, but all of those pretzels you buy, basketball home games, and every fundraiser and event like our bingo event that baseball partnered with alongside CSI Softball, all of that money goes to very good use down here in Myrtle Beach to fund this trip and a lot of other nice things for this men's baseball program. And you'll get to see some of what that money fundraised by softball goes to when I join the team down in Florida next week. So Harrington goes down swinging at the off-speed pitch, and that will bring up Jake Giovanone. Dolphins now down to their final 2 outs. Our stream still going. I have to admit, I'm in disbelief that we've made it this deep into the game. But here we are, as Giovanone takes low for ball 1. I know some of our crew was checking in over on the bus. Hopefully they caught the bit regarding number 0. Giovanone had 1-0 here. And there's a big swing and a miss. And Giovanone slices that one foul. Count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. As it has been all weekend, it will be a quick sign-off. And this will likely be the last time you hear from me until our basketball senior day. Nick Durst and Jeff Brodsky will be on the call for that game. But I might join them from down in Florida, as Giovanone does not leg out the infield single. And our crew back at home did catch the bit. That's what I like to hear. Very much so. The question is, did that ball catch the pitcher's glove? I'm going to say it did, so 1-4-3 on the put out at first base. And the Dolphins will send another pinch hitter to the plate here. Chris Bartnick will get an at-bat. Dolphins now down to their final out. So, while I know my live chat is filled, or I should say, our stream is filled with the crew back at home, I'd like to get a final score from our second softball game. So, Nick, Stephanie, one of you throw that in our text chat here, which I do have open in case you needed me, as Bartnick swings and misses for strike one. Big shout out to Nick Bavona and Stephanie Smallridge back at home running the game day today as the Dolphins hosted Chestnut Hill in New Jersey. They both were on the team bus. And from what I heard, everything went smoothly. That's what I like to hear. Hopefully not too smoothly. Don't want them thinking they don't need me back at home. 10-2 final in Game 2, 5-0 in Game 1. So thank you for that. CSI softball off to a 2-0 start. And that will be the final time that they are in action before they head down to Florida for the spring games. Joining the team as their third van driver is our Sportsnet colleague, Joe Calabrese. And I'm lucky enough that he will be there and on the call with me during the games. Not much to do when you're the van driver during the games. So Joe will join me on the call in Florida throughout the week. CSI softball winners 5-0 and 10-2 in 6 innings. Baseball down to their final strike here in Myrtle Beach as Bartnick takes up and away. Count now full, 3-2. Chris Riley on deck. Comes the payoff pitch. And that misses inside for ball 4. So Bartnick draws the 2-out walk, not giving any outs away here in the 7th. And now Chris Riley will come to bat. Riley getting his second at-bat of the game here. Hard to even find him in a very crowded box score now here on Stat Crew. And Riley hits one sharply to third. It's knocked down, and the throw goes to second in time. So with that, the Panthers take Game 2 from the Dolphins by a final score of 10-1. These two teams split today's doubleheader on my final day in Myrtle Beach. The Dolphins are back at it tomorrow with an exhibition game. That game gets underway tomorrow morning. With the win, the Panthers improve to 2-3. The Dolphins fall to 1-4. Once again, an exhibition game tomorrow. That game will not air on Sportsnet. No live stats for it. I'm sure we'll get a scoring update at some point from the team. But for my time in Myrtle Beach, this is it. And for all of you who have joined me all weekend long here on our Sportsnet live stream, thank you for tuning in. We hoped this gave you at least a decent look at all of the action here at the Cal Ripken Experience. Once again, this has been Joe Foreman on the call. Our final score here in Game 2 today, the Panthers 10, the Dolphins 1. You'll hear from me again on Basketball Senior Day. If not then, certainly the following day when softball begins their trip to the spring games in Florida on March 2nd. Everyone enjoy the rest of your Sunday night, and thanks for watching.